How's it going, everyone? My name is Ged, and this, of course, is Fabulous Flicks. And we are here at day 15. Sorry I didn't bring you a review yesterday. I got my mind focused on a little bit of a project down here in the basement. For those that have been following along, you'll probably notice it looks a hair different. Did some framing work to kind of capture the screen portion of it and ran some very matte vinyl up there to help with some ambient lighting. Super nerdy stuff, so that kind of took up a lot of my time yesterday. Had a great friend help me along with it, so you know who you are. Thank you, Gord. So today, day 15, this is, we're gonna have a couple new ones here. This is my first dabble into a movie that's part of a series. Now, for this movie and other ones I might get into for this, please understand that these aren't necessarily my favorite movies from this series, but this is about movies that held huge influence on me, and today's is an absolutely perfect example. So today's review is on Casino Royale. Released in 2006, Casino Royale was the first installment of the new Bond series featuring a very young, and yes, very physically well put together Daniel Craig. Funny enough, though, when they put all these movies together, they didn't obtain the rights to this one back in 1961, so they brought it out later on, a few years later, I think in 1968, and it had a bit of a different story. So it's interesting how they slotted this back into the beginning. So this movie stars a very young, brash, and volatile Bond who's actually just received his 00 status. So keep in mind, his character isn't what we know it to be today. This was very cool for me because growing up, I grew up with a very refined version of this character. Always a gentleman, always very calm, always very strategic. But in this case, not so much. He's kind of flying by the seat of his pants. So a young Bond is put on the case of trying to stop the bookkeeper that funds the world's biggest terrorists. Through a bunch of fortune and a bunch of adventure, he ends up sitting at the table of this very high stakes poker game that is being held in Montenegro and hosted by the villain. Now, funny enough, again, it actually was not shot in Montenegro. This entire sequence is actually shot in Carlo Ivari. So don't run to Montenegro hoping you're going to be able to find this casino on your travels once we're allowed to travel again. So obviously I don't want to spoil too much of the movie. That's a quick synopsis. The thing I wanted to bring you also today that's new came on a recommendation of a fun factoid, something that happens in the movie that has some cool data with it. So I'm going to show you a quick clip, and then I'm going to tell you why it's awesome. Right? The infamous Aston Martin roll scene. So here's some cool facts about it. Number one, during that sequence, they actually rolled and destroyed 3 Aston Martin DBSs, valued at $300,000 a piece. The other cool thing, and probably not so cool for the guy in it, but this sequence actually got them into the Guinness World Book of Records for the most number of barrel rolls assisted by a cannon. You might have about 17 more questions after that one. I recommend you look it up on IMDb for some background. So why this movie is influential to me. So for those of you that know me and have known me for a while, you know that I was a sales manager with Future Shop. For all you young guys out there, that is now what you guys call Best Buy. A little bit different back then. And in 2006, when this came out, was a huge time in home theater. It was the war for high definition video. In one corner you had Blu-ray, which Sony was just digging all of their resources into, and on the other side you had HD DVD, which was a big play by Toshiba and a couple others. And I remember this time because as sales managers, we went out west to Whistler Village, and they kind of crammed us in these rooms for 3 days. And every single vendor used this movie to show why their product was superior to everyone else's. Now, please understand, back then we worked crazy amounts of hours, and so I had the great fortune of a lot of my closest friends being out there with me. So most of these friends I still keep in touch with today, and the incredible memories, although to be honest, some of them probably were a little bit fuzzy, that we made back then are stuff that I still think about today. So my moment in this movie, my moment in this movie is kind of a fun, cheeky, smug one. So I'll let you guys have a look.
Don't worry, you're not my type.
Smart.
Single.
For those of you that have followed the Bond series, you'll probably get a sense for what Bond's MO is as to the lovely women he pursues in these movies. So there's just something so offhanded about that comment where he's looking away and just drops the line. So for your enjoyment, Casino Royale. Available, unfortunately, I still couldn't find this one on a streaming service, so you can rent it on iTunes, Google, Cineplex. If you have a Cody box, you can check it out there. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share. Kind of feel like a broken record. I love seeing it when new guys subscribe. It's been amazing seeing the comments, on YouTube. So thank you so much. The poll is still out, so if you haven't got your vote in, please put your vote in. I have some cool ideas for that episode. So until next time, take care.